Good morning, Buttercup.
Good morning, Marlo.
Day number 2. Two. Besides the super long train ride, what was your favorite thing about yesterday?
Drinking.
Yeah.
Live music.
That was good. We had fun.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Came all the way to Montreal and had McDonald's.
So we're getting ready to go for breakfast. And then by the time we're done, it'll be 9. Gonna hop on, hop off thingy. Starts at 10. So, and because the buses only run every half an hour. So if we want to stay anywhere, we'll have to plan it. But we've got our bus Metro pass, so if we get stranded, we can always get back. Way to begin.
Prochaine station, Place des Arts.
Now above ground, trying to find the tour. Not exactly sure where we're going. I just know it's at this subway station. So, we're wandering until we find it. We might have to turn around.
I don't know where.
Yeah, we neither of us do, so hi.
Hello.
We don't get Wi-Fi because I haven't paid for my service in a year.
Well, it's on it now.
Yeah, that's true. The non-digital one.
Yeah.
We are at Maisonneuve and Mansfield. That should be Maisonneuve and Mansfield. Does have a map. Oh, his hands are cold. I can tell. It's like 8 degrees.
No, like where are we supposed to be going?
Dorchester Square.
We're at Mansfield right now.
Yes, sorry. I thought you said where are we? We found the right way to go. Thank you, map. And turns out we came out the wrong metro station and we could have been so much closer, but we still probably would have been just as lost.
I feel like I downloaded that map though.
Yeah.
Makes it less more interactive.
Yeah, that's for sure.
If
we had Google, we could have, or Wi-Fi, we could have just said, find me. Because that's what took most of the time. Anyways, we're headed now to the park where this tour is supposed to start. And it is now 9:15 and it doesn't start until 10, so we've got lots of time. Shopping. More shopping. So we found it, and they're very, very helpful. And we'll see if we make it to Biodome. Maybe not. Closes early. We'll see. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. Anyways, we're walking in Dorchester Park now. This is a monument to somebody with a horse. I can't read it from here. I'm respectful of heritage, but I can't read it from here. It's too far. It's a war monument, I'm sure. And we've got the city. That looks like a museum. And that's where we were with our buses. And there's another building. And yeah, feel just enjoying the sun. No sun. Enjoying the cold.
Say, what's that?
Winston Churchill had 2 war rooms there. The crown jewels of England were brought from the Cunard lines during the Blitz. Here, that is the Sunlight Building. Most definitely English Protestant. That's it, sir, yeah. The Sunlight Building. Built and completed in 1914. They didn't complete the top tier, though. They ran out of money. It's like a giant wedding cake. Yeah. Now, if you look down the street, farther down the street to your starboard side, to the right, across the street, you're going to see Mary Queen of the World. That's where the bishops are buried. That's French Catholic. Okay? And it's a miniature of St. Peter's in Rome. It's 1/10 the size. Okay, so this is going to be a theme. This is going to be a theme on our tour. Of 17. Devant vous, c'est Marie, reine du monde. C'est une réplique de Saint-Pierre à Rome, mais c'est 1/10, c'est plus petit. Sur le toit, devant vous, à Marie, reine du monde, vous allez voir les 13 saints de chaque partie de Montréal qui a donné de l'argent pour cette église, qui a été construit en 1871. You guys, can you see the beautiful Mary Queen of the World in front of you on your left? When you look up on the roof, those aren't the 12 apostles. They're the 13 saints of the different boroughs in Montreal that gave money for the construction, which was completed in 1871. Pretty nice. Now you guys can go in there. Do you know when they shoot movies and they need to have the inside of the Vatican in Rome? They can't shoot inside, so they come to Montreal to shoot the throne. Yeah, I'm full of useless information like this. À votre droite, vous voyez Reine Elizabeth. C'était construit en 1952. C'est vraiment notre premier hôtel moderne avec les grands salons de conférence. You guys, on your right is the Queen Elizabeth Hotel. You know, that was our first hotel with huge convention rooms, 1952. You know who the first client is? I love this. I never mentioned John Lennon or Yoko Ono. I prefer this. The first client was Fidel Castro. Can you imagine? No smoking in the room, said the little bellhop to Fidel. I don't think so. I really don't think so. Alors, bientôt à votre gauche, vous allez voir Parc Saint-André. On va visiter son église tantôt, c'est gratuit aujourd'hui. L'oratoire Saint-Joseph, ça va être numéro 7. Do we have anybody from Ireland here? Anybody from Ireland? People go, the Irish first came to North America during the potato famine. Wrong. They came early with the Scots. They had not a farthing to their names. So in 1710, they took the shilling from a young King George and became lobsters, redcoats. That's who we are. That's who George Washington was. And our first St. Patrick's Day parade was in 1824. And every day St. Patrick's Day parade on my bus, you can wave to people. They won't give you the finger, they'll wave back. At the third intersection on your right is the largest Irish church in Canada, St. Patrick's. For those of you who know your Canadian history, that is where Darcy McGee was shot. Alors, they have names. The one on the left is called Temperance. I remember because it's the one across the street from the wine shop. Hey, who was the first Canadian in outer space? It wasn't Mark Garneau. It was a good Jewish boy from Montreal. William Shatner. Da-dee-da-da-da-da-da. And he graduated with a business degree from McGill, my old alma mater. We're going there later. And it was at McGill where he learned about dilithium crystals and phase shifting. Now, when we cross the street on your right, this looks like something out of Star Trek, The Next Generation. It's one of the largest convention centers in North America. It goes on for 6 city blocks. Can you see it? Look at the size of it. It looks like a bunker. And in architecture, yeah, that's it. Yeah, across the street, kitty corner, on your bowsprit starboard. And you know what this is called in architecture, this style? Neo-brutalism. Alors, à votre droite, à l'autre côté de la rue, c'est un des plus grands palais de congrès en Amérique du Nord. OK? C'est notre palais de congrès. Énorme. Puis, ça, à votre droite, c'est le village international des banques. On va parler de ça tantôt. Guys, we're coming up to our first stop now. Do we have any music? 1845, okay? On your right is also City Hall, 1871. Le tribunal, oui. C'est ça. On va faire ça en français, mais quand je parle anglais, il faut rester. Hein? Sinon, je suis un homme, je peux faire une chose à la fois. C'est compris? Merci. Okay, you guys, on your right is the first courthouse, 1845. À votre droite, c'est la première palais de justice. Puis à votre droite, vous avez le mairie, 1871. On your right is City Hall, 1871. Okay, we're going to turn right. When we go up the hill, at the top of the hill is the Calvé House, where Benjamin Franklin started the first French Free Press newspaper for the common man, and where it was American for 188 days. What flag are they flying? We're going to see. On va tourner à droite pour rendre en haut de la... Okay, we're going to turn right. We're going up. Now, who's been to the Nelson Monument in England? That was erected. England expects every man to do his duty. That's 1842. We have the first Nelson Monument in the world, 1809, coming up on your right. And by the way, my fellow Canadians, that is the first monument in Canada. So coming up in front of you is the Chateau de Ramsay Museum. What flag are they flying? They could be flying the old Union Jack. They could be flying the pre-Rev War American flag. They could be flying the old French Marine flag. Devant vous, vous avez le château de Ramsay. Le sieur de Ramsay était le gouverneur à Montréal en 1705. C'est une vraie maison de la régime français. Devant vous. On your right, there's Nelson. Now that's English Protestant. I bet right there on your right, starboard midships. I bet you $20. I bet you $20 US that across from him is a French Catholic seaman. Sea officer. Okay, that's right. In Montreal, wherever you see something that represents English Protestant, across the street you have something that represents French Catholic. Now you have to understand that the Catholics were here first, but they under the auspices later to be Huguenots. It's complex. But the Brits were here afterwards on the shirt tails, but the French were here first. We'll get into that. Alors voilà, à votre droite vous avez l'hôtel de ville et derrière le colonne. Okay, so behind the Nelson Monument is our third public square in Montreal, Jacques Cartier Square. There's the old French Marine flag. Voyez-vous, ça c'est l'ancien drapeau de la frange de la marine de la France. Okay? You need it. Okay, now on your left is the third public square in Montreal, Jacques Cartier Square. This is where we're going to go later on today to look at people. Okay, now tomorrow is Saturday, Adriana, and there's going to be weddings on your right at the first courthouse. Look to your right. Tomorrow morning, you're going to see the bride, the groom, the Rolls Royces. Yeah, on your right, the first courthouse. Okay, you're going to see the bride, the groom signing the registry in front of the classical portico with its ionic fluted columns. I love Bill, Daddy. The troth, the sacred troth. A few years has passed. Daddy, Bill's not the man I married. On your left, the Court of Appeal, 1929. À votre gauche, la Cour d'appel 1929. What's this in front of you, my fellow Americans? Mickey D's, McDonald's, we do it all for you. Where the McDonald's is now, listen up, where there live two men, both from Montreal, Duluth and Cadillac. And after they supersized their trios, they went out west. Duluth founded Minnesota. Cadillac did one better. He founded the city of Detroit and became the first and 10th governor of Louisiana. Am I getting through to you people? Okay, good. Où vous voyez le McDo maintenant, c'était la maison de Lomé de la Motte, le sieur de Cadillac, le fondateur de Detroit et le premier gouverneur de la Louisiane. Okay, look to your left. Do you see the big signs? Bureau à louer. You see for rent. You see you call Tony. Now yesterday we had a couple from Virginia. The lady was in her 80s. She said, I am somewhat perplexed. You have these huge signs everywhere for a lover. Call Tony with a cell phone. How can that be? Are they Lotharios? All right. Devant vous, vous avez une des premières rues à Montréal, rue Saint... Okay, you guys, at the end of the street, you have the beautiful IMAX theater on the King Edward Pier. Now later on you can warm up in a dark cinema in 70 millimeter watching giant pandas get high on eucalyptus trees. The architecture that you see is Scottish. It's Scottish. They're the people who built in North America. When you go to old Quebec, it's Scottish. It looks like Edinburgh. All the architecture you see dates from 1840 to 1870. Okay, we're going to turn right, and we're coming up to our second stop, the first public square in Montreal, Royal Square, 1648, where last night we had a double public hanging. No tourists asking too many questions. It's not true. À votre droite, des entrepôts écossais 1850. Look at this old street on your right. Thank you, Tony. You're wonderful. Look at that old street. That street dates from 1658, 1658. Somebody asked me last week, was it a one-way? I don't know. I don't know what to do anymore. Yeah, tourists. Well, you know what? I love them. You guys, you know what? I'm gonna keep you. You guys are. On your left, everything's very Victorian. So on your left is the Alexandra Pier. This is where the ships moor. Now, Alexandra was a very handsome Danish princess. She married King Edward VII, which is the next peer, who of course was the son of Queen Victoria. So everything's very Victorian. Alors, à votre droite, au bout de la rue, on descend. C'est des. Okay. So, on your left is a horse and buggy ride. Every time I try to talk. It's $85 for an hour. The tip and the carrot are included. Salut! So, in front of you, that's where we received the first SOS of the Titanic. The statue you see is a Scotsman named John Young. He was an engineer. He modernized the Lachine Canal, which is at your left. The Lachine Canal was the cradle of the Industrial Revolution in 1827. 14 kilometers long, 14 meters high, has 5 locks. On your left is a very famous landmark in the world. It's Habitat 67. Built in 1967, it comprises of 341 cubes. Meant to evoke a Sephardic village clinging to a hill. The work of a young architect from Israel, Moshe Safdie. $1.5 million a cube. When I was a boy, I had my nose broken down here. It smelled of stevedore's sweat, diesel, and malt. Now, you can buy a condo down here for $6.5 million. Thank you. On your left is the Multimedia City. Anybody good designing software for CGI? You can get yourself a gig and then you can buy the condo. On your right, in front of you, is where Marlon Brando made his last film before he died with Robert De Niro, called The Score. It's our old customs house. Alors, à Montréal, on a 5 villages. Chaque village a leur lampadaire. Vous allez voir à votre droite et à votre gauche, vous avez les lampadaires anciennes. Vous êtes dans le Vieux-Montréal. You guys, we have 5 villages in Montreal. Each village has its own style of lamp. So if you look to the right, look to the left, old-fashioned lamps, honey, we're in Old Montreal. We're going to talk in each village, I'll show you the lamps. Yeah. Alors, mes amis, à votre droite, on est renommé pour ça mondialement, c'est des hôtels-boutiques. Vous avez devant vous, à votre droite, Hôtel Boutique Saint-Paul. You guys were famous for this, boutique hotels. On your right is the St. Paul Hotel. And on your left, remember the Grand Trunk Railway? Remember Lieutenant Bennett Young, who held up the banks in St. Albans? Well, this is the Grand Trunk Railway building that in 1858 built the longest bridge in the world, our Victoria Bridge, linking Montreal with New England 3 years before the American Civil War. United States, this changed our history, this one little bridge. All right. Alors, on va être rendu bientôt, mes amis, à la village international des banques, okay? So you guys, we're going to be coming to the next village, the International Village Banking. The great bard John Donne took off his wig, threw his plump finger in the air and said, "A man is not an island." Well, I don't know about that, John, but Montreal is. We have 22 bridges and 1 tunnel. And in front of you is the largest bridge at the east end of the island, Jacques-Cartier Bridge, built in 1929. On a 22 ponts sur l'île de Montréal. Devant vous, c'est le plus grand pont à l'est de l'île, le pont Jacques-Cartier, conçu en 1929. Let's talk about more writers. Mr. Clemens. Who was Mr. Clemens, everybody? Okay, that's it. 100. You get the gold star. Mark Twain came to Montreal. When he went back to the Mississippi, he said to Mr. Franks, his publisher, said, "Mark, do tell, how was Montreal?" Mark Twain stood up in his white sartorial suit and said, "Mr. Franks, you could not throw a red brick without breaking a stained glass window." A lot of churches. We have 218 churches on an island that's 50 kilometers long and 16 wide. On aime ça, et on a, sur l'île de Montréal, on a beaucoup des églises, hein, au-dessus de 218. Okay, guys, there's no hiding it any longer, okay? It's time to talk about the great... Those colors. I said, performance. He goes, "Are you an artist?" I said, "Well, I guess so. Was it an arts degree?" I said, "Yes." He reached down inside the barrel deep. He pulled rolled up a Nielsen Crispy Crunch. He handed it to me while quietly ushering me out of the tent, wishing me the best of luck. That's a true story. Yeah, hilarious. That's okay. Bought the 80-acre farm. I was good at what I did. Ok, guys, à votre droite, c'est l'université de McGill. Hein? Puis vous avez la grande bibliothèque, ici, à votre droite. And you guys coming up is the William Shatner Student Union Building, our first Canadian in outer space, a good Jewish boy from Montreal, got himself an MBA. Et à votre droite, vous allez voir la librairie de McGill. You guys coming up on your right is the McGill Bookshop. Great place to get souvenirs. 5 floors of books and coffee and souvenirs. À votre droite, c'est Gestion McGill. We're about to cross Beale Street. Who was Robert Beale? He founded the first modern police constabulary, Scotland Yard. A policeman's lot is not a happy one. To keep an eye on the Peaky Blinders in Whitechapel. On your right is the Renoir restaurant, where you're going to pay $95 for a breakfast omelette, and you're going to like it. Alors, devant vous, à votre gauche, il n'y a pas mieux. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the big houses of the movers and shakers of the 19th century. And on our way back, I'm doing a special Downton Abbey tour we're going to talk about. So if you're from the States or Canada, this will touch your history. The third flag from your left on the Ritz-Carlton, the farthest flag away on your left, is the flag of Montreal. It has a white background. That's Louis XV's military flag during the French Indian Wars here. Okay? George Washington saw that flag on a constant basis when as a young man. You have the Red Cross of St. George, and you have the 4 founding members from Europe, of Montreal, represented by flowers. Let's face it, of North America. The lily for France, the rose for England, the thistle for Scotland, and the shamrock for Ireland. Ladies, I promised you a promise made is a debt unpaid. This is for the ladies. On your left, Beaux-Arts Architecture, Tiffany's. On your left, Art Deco Architecture. That's Frank. Tell him I want the pizza all dressed. On your left, Holt Renfrew, where you can buy that Sonia Rykiel vintage bathing suit for $42,000 for that special trip to St. Kitts. And ladies and gentlemen, in front of you, 3 city blocks of designer clothes. No, you won't find a Tommy Hilfiger sign there, love. No, that's not the phone number, that's the price of the dress. Nuts, huh? All right. Alors voilà, mes amis, on va rendu à numéro 6, Musée des Beaux-Arts. Numéro 6. You guys, we've arrived. Number 6, the Fine Arts Museum, built in 1914. Hey, where do we go when we need marble? No. Vermont. On your right. Pennies in an open street. That's from geologists call it a plume. And it's not very common. So people come from all over to study. We have 8 of them around the Montreal. Kind of like when you're making porridge, it's ready. On your right, the Samuel Brofman building coming up. The Brofman family, a very important family in Montreal, made their fortune by distilling alcohol during Prohibition. A philanthropic family, a family that gives so much to education and the arts. The Samuel Brofman. The most expensive, the largest mansion is the Brofman Mansion. I think it's $21 million or something. In front of you is the Montreal General Hospital connected to McGill Health Science. We'll be doing a special tour of McGill on the way home. I'm going to be talking about restaurants and big old families on the way home. On your left, Tudor houses. Not two-door, but Tudor, as in King Henry VIII, I.M. She's been married 7 times before, and everyone was an enemy. Never with. We're gonna get along just dandy. Okay. Do you guys know I live 20 minutes away from Vermont? It takes me 55 minutes to get to my house from Montreal. We are going to see on your left at 300 yards the state of Vermont. You're going to see the end of the Appalachians and the St. Lawrence Valley. And then in a few minutes after that, you're going to turn right around on the upper deck and you'll see New York State and the St. Lawrence River. We're about an hour and 10 minutes from the border. Yeah, an hour if I'm driving. These are, yeah, old, well, you guys have old Vancouver, right? Captain Vancouver, 1779. Okay, guys, so look to your left. You'll see we should be able to see the end of the Appalachians. Believe it or not, people don't believe me. It's true. Yeah, they're out there. You see the purple. And then on your right is 900 acres of Scandinavian maple trees designed by Frederick Law Ormsted. What part didn't he design? Let me know. And then on your left is Old Money, the Glen Eagles. Now I want you to look at the third driveway on your left. It's called Sparrow Manor, and we call it in England, we call this a mews. It's a townhouse, and it recently sold for $7 million. Now they're flipping it, they're selling it again. And it's in the plantation style, so the third driveway on your left. Okay, I thought we would all pitch in and get a little pied-à-terre. There you go, nice, huh? But you see, they have to take out, they have garbage too. So, yeah, that little place. Yeah, cute, eh? Yeah. 7 million. Straight ahead. It's the big antenna. All right. Now they should be out. You'll probably see them riding around. Yeah. Gorgeous horses. Very smart. Very funny. Hey, buddy. Look, he's had a roll. Oh, yeah. Beautiful. Very smart. On your left, the Spandex Festival. Popular colors this year, lemon yellow, cadmium red, and seafoam blue. It's not true. It's not true. We got a bit of the colors. Because of our warm weather, they're not as striking, but I'm not complaining. The colder the nights, the hotter the days, the more brilliant colors you get. But we've had it good for a while. We've had some very warm evenings. Yeah, it was nice. That's why we went on. Yeah, perfect evening. It would be like that all. So this is number 8, and then number 9 we're gonna get. Distilling, yeah, they call it Chevaline. Whoop. On your left, if you look through the trees, it's very old. It's one of the oldest English cemeteries in North America, 1812, 1811. And when you look through it, it looks like Sleepy Hollow. The Irish and the Scots are also resting there. Very pastoral and bucolic, somewhat like an old Joshua Reynolds painting or an old English Gainsborough painting. Folks, in about 500 yards, I want you to look left. You will be able to see the Laurentian Mountains, an hour and a half northeast of Montreal. Very, very, very old, very ancient. And right now, something I enjoy is motorcycling out there, watching the leaves turn. If you go out there now, you'll see all the retired accountants and their wives with their sidecars, with their big road stars and FLH. It's kind of hilarious. Anyway, so there you go. And pristine hunting and fishing, beautiful lakes, old money. When Winston Churchill came to Canada, of course, with during the Second World War, he stayed there for a week for talks up north. So the big end of the Edwardian money in Montreal. Huge hunting and fishing lodges. Okie dokie. So folks, we're gonna stretch our legs for a few minutes. Please stay close to the vehicle. I'm not gonna leave without you. A gorgeous view, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking north by northeast, okay? There it is. That's who we are, North America. In the east, our St. Lawrence River. It's who we are.
Can't even see downtown from here. But said you can see the mountains. Oh, way over there.
Oh, like that. I think so. But I'll show you here.
Moss was a brave woman. While all the guys were out chasing beaver pelts, she started the first hospital here in 1642. And on your right, you're going to see one of our fathers of Confederation, Georges-Etienne Cartier. And behind the statue is the famous cross on Mount Royal, which was put there in the 1960s. The original was put there, was put there in the 6th of January, 1643. Remember, Montreal started as a Catholic mission. Yeah, fresh airs for the kids. I have an 8-year-old. She's the same thing. She's a Nordic. She doesn't feel the cold. Okay, you guys, we're going to visit McGill. So here we go. Fasten your seatbelts. Things are going to get busy. We're going to talk about the Titanic, the American Civil War. We're going to talk about a bit about everything 19th century. On your left is the Hotel Dieu Hospital, founded 801 years ago in Paris, in front of Notre Dame. Okay, that's the original, where my dad was born, 1925. On your right is home to Canadian football, the Montreal Molson Stadium, CFL football. And on your right is the Curry Gym, huge giant sports complex, where I used to be on the Epee team 100 years ago. In front of you, it's all student housing. Don't ask me what the enrollment is. I was there in the early 80s, but it's big, and that's all student housing. Okay, we're going to visit McGill Medicine. So here we go. Yep, the Molson Stadium. A real old-fashioned stadium, right? Like our Grand Prix track, it's an old-fashioned track. You're right on top of the cars. If there's a crash... Okay, on your left, Oncology Medicine McGill. And on your right, big faculty of family medicine. At the second traffic lights, on your right...